Welcome to the Living Big podcast, where we're all about embracing life to the fullest. Hey, I'm Marlie.
And I'm Kylie, and we're thrilled you're here. We explore how to pursue our passions, nurture meaningful connections, and inject some serious fun into our lives.
We're here to show you you're not alone.
And we want to do what we can to ease the stresses of everyday life and help you in your journey of living big.
This episode is proudly sponsored by Event Penguin, your go-to solution for creating unforgettable events. Say goodbye to clunky and hard-to-use event sites and create your next event in minutes today.
Whether it's a party, conference, or a networking event, Event Penguin has everything you need to bring your vision to life. Visit eventpenguin.com today and discover beautiful, customizable event pages that make planning a breeze. With a seamless guest experience, Event Penguin lets you focus on what truly matters, making your event a smashing success. Start building your community through events effortlessly. Jump in! Welcome back to another episode of Living Big. We're so excited to be here with you again today. Today is a golden episode. It's number 15, and we're releasing it on the 15th of April. So fun.
Woot.
We love it.
Yeah.
It felt right to do something kind of fun and cutesy since it's our golden episode. And we've talked a lot about our husbands on the podcast so far.
Yeah.
But we haven't really gotten into the nitty-gritty details of the courtship. Is that such an old
an old term?
Of the dating, like our love stories. How did we meet?
Yeah.
What happened? Were there any silly or weird things?
Absolutely.
And then, now, obviously. So we're like, we should give some background into our love stories.
I think we talked about the couch already, but
yeah.
we'll go into a little more detail.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then also, this is going to be a little bit more focused on each couple rather than, our friendship as the four of us.
Yes.
Which is fun.
And soon, you'll be meeting them.
We're so excited.
Yeah.
We're forcing them to join us.
Right. Bribing, more like it.
Yeah. I'm literally going to make Eager something chocolate.
He was like, I just wanted you to sweat a little bit.
Her husband.
Yeah. My husband, he was like, I just wanted them to sweat. I just wanted to make them be nervous for a little bit. He was like, I was going to do it.
Oh my gosh. That's so eager. No, it's fine. I still will make him something chocolate.
Yes.
Hiram, he just gets the pleasure of, I say he has to. Just kidding. He's excited.
Yes. Of being in our presence. Right.
I love it.
Yeah, no, it's always fun, I feel like, to talk about your story and how you ended up together. And it's such a big part of our story that we can't not talk about it, I feel like.
Yeah.
We knew each other before they knew each other. And I knew...
And before the four of us were friends.
Right. But there's a lot of history between us as couples being friends and doing things together, because I feel like you were kind of our first married couple friends.
Oh yeah, no, you guys were definitely our first married couple friends, and then even still we're family,
right?
So it's we're gonna talk about the husbands,
right?
We're gonna bring them on.
Absolutely.
But here's a little background on some of the love, the ushy gushy,
exactly
cutesy stuff.
So we're gonna talk about stuff. Think about your own little love story as we go along. We're gonna put out some questions and things on social, so please join along. We want to hear your stories as well. So
I'm just a sucker for any good romance,
right?
Honestly, so I'm I want to hear all of it. Please tell me every detail.
Well, okay, so we talked about in a recent podcast episode how we leak one of our books that we love was Yours Truly, and someone kind of bashed on it. And in my brain, it was perfection because it's a cutesy little love story.
You're no, it's perfect.
But it was a really valid point. I was like, oh yeah, okay, I guess that makes sense. But I still love it.
But listen, romance is kind of cheesy.
Yeah.
And we're live for that.
Yeah.
At some point, we should even go through first kiss stories or something like that with all of you guys, because I'm sure.
Oh my gosh. I just
even
read
mine.
Everyone's submissions. Yeah. Mine was bad. Yours was something.
So funny.
So,
yeah.
Oof. Yep.
I'm a sucker for love, so we're really excited. It's going to be so fun. Okay, so I'm going to start asking Marlie some questions today about her love story.
Yeah, and then we'll switch.
So, first off, how did you and Eager meet?
Okay, so this depends on who you ask.
Well, I'm asking you.
So I was a missionary in Ukraine for a year and a half. And I lived in kind of the region that included where my husband is from, because he's from Ukraine. That's always a fun little
fact
tidbit. So I served in kind of just like the general, it was like a sectioned off region where his family was from, and he was actually also a missionary at the same time, but he was in Russia for part of his mission, and then there was like a whole revolution and the war began and stuff like that. So this
is pre this time,
right?
For anyone who didn't know
this was
history.
10 years ago. This is the 10 years ago revolution that happened in December of 2014. And so when that happened, they had to move him back to Ukraine, and so he finished out the rest of his mission in just a different region of Ukraine, and he actually spoke pretty much only Ukrainian out there, whereas he mostly is from a city where they speak Russian. So kind of fun fact there. But so he knew a lot of people that I knew. We had a lot of mutual friends, kind of a thing. And then when he was done with his mission, he moved here to the States and was going to school, living his life, doing his thing, when our mission president, he's like the dude in charge of all the missionaries in that region, he came home with his family, and it was kind of like a mission reunion kind of thing. Everyone got together. We were all reminiscing. We were having the greatest time. And I think everyone pretty much was single at the time. So everyone's kind of like scoping each other out as well.
No, not kind of. For sure.
Okay, it wasn't just me. It wasn't just me. And I think, didn't we like get together for like a thing? Or was that later? I can't remember.
I think that was later.
In October. That was later. That was a later one. But yeah, we were all kind of scoping each other out. So anywho, but my husband is there because he had like mutual friends, and he also was there to like scope out girls. He knew he was there to scope out girls.
That was his main reason for going.
I think
it's like, yeah, sure, mission.
Right, yeah. So so he was there, and the reason I say that it depends on who you ask, because if you ask him, he'll say, oh, we like met in Ukraine and like did anti-missionary things, like held hands and kissed and stuff like that.
Oh,
anywho,
my gosh, what a prankster.
And he's like, I proposed to her on the plane on the way back.
So mischievous.
He's terrible. Anywho, so no, so we met because there were some cute girls who I knew from Ukraine, and he was like standing right there next to them, and I was so excited to see them after not seeing them for like a year. Went up to them and I was like, oh my gosh, it's so good to see you. And I noticed that there was this rando dude standing right there, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, who are you? And he's like, oh, you don't remember me? He was like, we served together. And I was like,
he literally is such a prankster.
So I know.
What a punk.
I know. What a punk. So, and then I get distracted for a second, and someone's like talking to me. They're excited to see me. I'm excited to see them or whatever. Meanwhile, while I'm distracted, he leans over to these girls and is like, what's her first name, her last name, and one area where she served? And I was like, so I come back to him. Okay. I'm like, cool. If we served together, what's my name? And he's like, ooh, you were Sister Inel on the mission, and your first name is Marlie. And I was like, oh, what? Getting a little like, woo, you know? And so,
crap, I don't remember him.
I'm like racking my brain here. And then I was like, well, where did we serve? And he was like, this area, you know, some Ukrainian city. And I was like, crap, I really don't remember this dude. And so then I was like, well, who's your companion? Like the dude that you were like assigned to serve with at the same time. And he was like, well, if you remember my companion, but you don't remember me, I don't want to talk to you.
Oh, smart guy. He's quick on his feet though.
I know.
That's a good response. I would have been like,
uh-huh. And that was me basically. It was just, I had nothing for that. And I was like, okay, fine, whatever. Anywho, so we parted ways.
You're a punk.
Yeah, well, my descriptive word for him was turd. He was a turd. So anywho.
You hear that, Eager?
Oh, he knows. He knows. Anywho, so we parted ways as very unlikely friends. But maybe because it's like our love story, we're like frenemies. Yeah. Friends to lovers. Ooh, that's a fun trope.
I was going to say, what a good trope.
I know, it's a good trope. Maybe that's why I love that trope. Because that was
I like a little bit of the like, you know, mixed drama in there before we fell in love.
I know. So then we saw each other again later. And Can I continue with the story? You were like, how'd you meet?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, continue.
Anyway, so then we met again later, and he was like, do you remember my name? And we're just kind of like, yeah, you're that dude, whatever kind of thing. And then, so we like originally met in July, and then we saw each other again at a Halloween dance in Provo.
Please describe what he was wearing.
So So I looked really cute. I was dressed as like Supergirl or whatever. I had red lipstick, right? Anywho, so obviously it was great. And then he was dressed as Ace Ventura when he's like in the like insane asylum. He's got like a tutu. He's wearing a Hawaiian shirt that's open and his hair is all crazy. That's what my husband was wearing.
He looked fly.
He looked fly. That's a word. So that was, yeah. So he was there and I noticed him and I noticed some other like mutual friends he was hanging out with. And I was like, oh my gosh, you're that dude. And he was like, oh, you're that girl. And we got to talking. And as we were talking, I was like, okay, you're like, in my brain, I'm thinking, okay, he's kind of cute. And he's like not as stupid as he was.
So second impression was a little bit better.
A little bit better.
Even in a tutu.
Exactly. Yes. Oh, there's something about that tutu.
Does he still wear it?
No, it wasn't even his. He borrowed it. He just like,
I'm just saying if you like it.
I don't even think he was like planning
Bring
on
it back out.
being there. And then all of a sudden someone was like, hey, I got tickets. Let's go. And he just like randomly showed up.
Well, luckily he sends it.
Yeah.
He still does. He'll still dress up.
That's like the one time I can really get into stuff with me. I like grew up in dress up. When I go to Disneyland, I have my whole outfit situation locked down. I was in musicals. I did stuff like I'm just extra.
Yeah.
Okay. Anywho, so when he gets to Halloween, he kind of just lets me do whatever, and it's amazing. Best day of the year.
I love that.
Yeah. So, so we got together. We were talking for a little bit and I was like, okay, he's not stupid. And then he was like, are you good with technology? And I was like, I mean, I think so. And he opens his phone and he's like, do you think you could fix my calculator?
What the random?
And it's on the like type in your number screen.
Oh, everything he does. He could not be serious. He's so unserious.
So unserious. I mean, if you know him, like, this is so him.
None of that stressed you out. You were just like, okay.
I just kind of, okay, here's the thing though. Back in the day, little Marlie was like the people pleaser, just went with the flow kind of a thing. I'm a lot more confident in myself now. So yay for that. But no, it was so funny though. I was just like, okay, sure. And I thought it was silly. I thought he was like fun to talk to.
Oh, he totally is. I just think that like literally everything that came out of his mouth in both of these first meetings was so unserious.
It was, yes, very unserious. He was also what he calls affectionately his hoe face. Where he was like, I don't want to date girls, they suck kind of a thing. Anywho, and then he met me.
He was being a little bit of a player.
Yes, he was the hoe. Can I say that?
I mean, if he called himself that, then yeah.
Yes. Anywho, so yes, he was just like, I'm not about girls right now. I'm just gonna like, party kind of thing. And then we hung out and I guess it was like the next day.
Did he call you? I was going to say you put your phone number in his calculator.
Yeah. So I gave him my phone number via calculator and he actually was texting me that night. But I was kind of like at this dance with some guys. It was kind of just like a group date. It wasn't anything serious. I had just met these guys, but they were really nice and was having fun and whatnot. And so he was like texting me that night, actually like no hesitation, just immediately reached out. And then the next day, he reached out again and was like, hey, I have a surprise for you. Can I come bring it to you? And I was like, yeah, you can come by late tonight because I had a date with another dude that night. Spoiler alert, that date was not very good. And I went home and I texted him. It was like 11:15 at night. And I was like, hey, I'm available now.
Oh my gosh.
And he came over and he brought me Ukrainian chocolate and we've pretty much been together ever since.
So cute.
That was like the whole love story.
No, I love it. I still have lots of questions.
Okay,
so
good.
It's all good. So you started hanging out. Mm-hmm. You liked him.
Yeah.
But how did you become like officially boyfriend and girlfriend?
Okay.
Was there like a moment or did you have one of those conversations?
Yeah.
Did you define the relationship?
Oh,
did you have a
geez,
DTR?
So I think it was like a week after we started hanging out that we started holding hands, and there was no conversation about it. Mm-hmm. We just like started holding hands.
Just naturally.
Just so naturally. And
that's cute.
well, okay. So I remember that night the first night when he came over and brought me chocolate, we just like sat and talked for way too long and cuddled. Oh my gosh. I was not
on the first night.
Oh, that was weird for me.
Ooh,
okay. I didn't kiss anyone.
Marlie.
I didn't kiss anyone until I was 21. Okay. And like
and at this point, you're what?
22.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's like right after.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it was right after I was 22. And I just like had no experience with like any sort of physical affection. I hadn't really like dated. I had been in like one other serious relationship that was really not good for me. We'll have to do an episode about bad boys at some point.
Oh yeah.
That'll be fun. But
we could do that history.
Yeah. So we just like kind of like, yeah, we were hanging out or whatever. And I walked into his car at like, I don't know, 2 or 3 in the morning.
It was so awesome though.
But there was a curfew.
A connection.
Yeah, there was absolutely a connection. And then I walked into his car and then he hugged me. And I remember feeling like that was the best hug I had ever received. Oh. And I was like, whoa.
Cute.
Okay, your girl's short. I am 5'2". Okay. And for some reason, all the guys that I was like interested in were way tall. They were all like 6 foot or taller kind of thing.
Like gangly.
Gangly. Yeah. So, anywho, then I hugged my husband, my now husband, and he's 5'9", which is absolute perfection in my brain.
Yeah.
So I was like, wow, that was like actually really nice hugging
really
this
nice.
Guy. Mm. Yeah, like some of my best high school friends were like 6'4", and I remember them having to like reach down to hug me.
Yeah.
Anywho, this was like something different, and so that kind of like sparked something there. And then about a month later, we were having like a date kind of a thing where we followed like a YouTube video and drew a horse. It's kind of like the precursor to the Bob Ross night. Uh-huh. But when you're cheap and don't want to buy all the supplies, you're a little poorer. Yeah. And so then, we were drawing these horses, having such a good time. And I wrote on my horse and I like I wrote on the picture and dedicated it to him, like to my friend.
Oh, friend.
Because we were just friends, but we held hands and kind of cuddled, you know?
Oh, no. Did he take that as like...
No, he didn't. He took it as fuel.
Well, good for him.
So then, later that night, we were just kind of like talking, and then he kissed me. And then after that, in my brain, we were 100% dating. He did kind of have like a conversation with me beforehand, like maybe it was like a week before. And he was like, hey, I just want you to know I'm not dating any other girls. Mm. And just like very casually
but it
throw
wasn't
it out
like,
there.
Hey, are we on the same page? It was just kind of like, just so you know, I'm not dating anyone else.
Right. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't like, oh my gosh, I see this going anywhere. It's just like...
No, that's a great way to define the relationship in a way less like...
Yeah.
Crazy,
oh my gosh
way.
It was such a green flag in my brain. I was about to go like perform for something and he told me that and I was like, okay, I feel so good, like great.
Cute.
It was so chill. It wasn't like anything. Yeah, we never really had like a DTR
cute
kind of thing. It just kind of evolved.
Oh my gosh, I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna jump ahead a little bit in time. So you're dating, officially boyfriend and girlfriend because you kissed,
right?
I love it. And then how did you get to the point where you knew you were going to marry him? What's kind of the story behind that?
Oh, geez. So I wanted to break up with him.
Why?
Okay, this is really difficult, actually. This is like a tough conversation that we've had to have. But there were a lot of reasons. One of the reasons was like I didn't love his friends. Mm-hmm. They made me really uncomfortable, and he stopped being friends with them. That's probably good. Yeah. Part of that also was like a me thing because I was very kind of sheltered and just not exposed to anything really, and so
it was just very different than what you were used to.
Their level of humor and just the things that they talked about or whatever, it just was not my jam.
Yeah.
Anywho, so that was a part of it, is like we'd hang out with his friends and I just got really uncomfortable all the time. I don't know. I was just like, I want to date and I don't think I really am ready to like completely settle down, and just different things. I just like, I don't know why. I do know why. Really, it came down to I couldn't commit 100%.
I remembered this because we were roommates at the time.
Yeah.
But I don't want to give my side until I've like fully, until everyone's fully heard your
I do
version.
remember like having a whole conversation about this.
Yeah.
Oh, little Marlie was struggling in the dating department because I was like kind of into another guy, and then I kind of started being really into Eager, and then I like had to drop the other guy, and it just kind of
Oh, it's such a confusing time too.
So confusing. It's
Your
so tough.
Early 20s, like dating up a storm and having fun, and then like what's gonna happen from here?
Yeah, I was struggling with commitment. Yeah, that was a tough one. So, so I tried to break up with him. I sat down and had a conversation with him, and I was like, hey, I just don't think this is going the right direction, kind of thing. I don't think it's going there for me, at least. And oh man, he's just quick on that uptake, because then he was like, I don't think we should break up, and here's why. And he's like, I think that growth takes time, and I think eventually I will, be exactly who you need me to be. And kind of went that way. And I was like, dang it. He was like, take your time, you think about it. And he was like, but I'm all in, basically. And he was like, I thought we maybe would be getting married this year, actually. This is like in January that we had this conversation. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so then he kissed me on the cheek and said goodbye, and that was it. And I just remember thinking like, what? That was not how I expected that to
reaction. That was not the reaction I was expecting.
No. So then the next day I really was being very introspective. I was praying real hard about it, because I was like, I don't know, like I've never had anyone like fight for me like that.
Yeah. In
a way that kind of left the ball in my court and made me do the work for it.
Brought up new ideas.
Like, brought up new ideas.
For you, it was just, I'm breaking up with him.
Yeah.
And then there was a new idea.
Right. It was like, actually,
what if there's a completely different route?
Right. And so I was like, you know what? I'm going to do this. I'm going to decide to be here and be in this relationship and give it 100%. Like whatever happens. I don't know for sure if I'm going to marry this guy right away, but I'm going to at least give all of my effort to this relationship. So then the next day when I'm having this whole like, internal conflict, I call him and I'm like, hey, can you come over? And then he comes over, and I basically just was like, I'm so sorry. I want to really give this a good go. Mm-hmm. And so then I would say within a week.
It was really fast. From my perspective, this is what I remember. Hiram and I were having a date, and we were inside the apartment that we all lived in. And you were like, just so everyone knows, I'm going to break up with Eager. And we were like, wait, let's talk about this. We were like, we want to understand like kind of the context, like what's going on and everything. Because up to that point, you had been having a lot of fun, at least from our outside perspective.
I was having a lot of fun. Yeah.
And so anyway, you gave us all the same reasons. You walk out. And then when you came in, you were like, I think I'm going to marry him. And we were like, wait, what? Didn't you just go to break up with him? And you're like, yeah, no, actually he said like, he wants to marry me and I think I'm going to do it. And we were like, what? Wait, hold up. So It was fast.
It was very fast. I think within a week of that conversation and apologizing and getting back together. Not that we like seriously took a break, because it was like less than 24 hours.
Getting back together, or just taking some thought time.
Yeah, just like, take a break in your own world, think about it. Yeah, nope. I think it was within a week that I told him I loved him, and he was like, I've been waiting.
Aw, it's so cute.
And yeah, I was like pretty sold at that point. Once I don't know, there was just something that I was like, this is it. Once I figured myself out, and I was like, I'm just going to commit to the relationship.
And see what happens.
And then it became way more than that real fast.
And actually now we're getting married.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, so now we got to jump to the proposal story.
Okay.
How did that happen? Were you surprised? Just give us all the details.
So there's video evidence that I'll have to repost, because
love it.
my face in that video,
It's a really good video.
it's so bad, y'all.
Oh, so good.
Okay, so proposal time was magical, like straight out of a Hallmark movie or something. I don't know. He took me to a park, and I thought there was going to be tulips at this park, okay? Because we had gone to this park. We had seen that there's like these little tulip beds that you can like dedicate or whatever. You can like sponsor the little patch of tulips. And I love tulips, and he loves tulips. Anywho, and it was in like April. It was early April though. And that day like was raining and whatnot. And he was like trying to be all sneaky, but not suspicious, but he totally was. And I was on him. And I remember saying to like the girls, I was like, I think I'm going to get engaged. And I was wanting to look all cute, because he was like, take your time getting ready, kind of a thing, just texting me throughout the day. And like, we were just going to go hang out. And he was like, I think we're just going to go like feed some ducks or something today. And I was like, okay. And he was like, but take your time to get ready. And I was like,
But look really cute.
we're just going to go feed some ducks and moldy bread, but we're just going to look real cute for it too.
I love it.
So, anywho, we meet up and we go to this park. And like I said, I thought there were going to be tulips, but there weren't tulips. It was kind of rainy. Oh, I should also scroll back just a little bit, because we're driving to the park. This is my favorite part. We're driving to this park in Orem, and it's a very beautiful park. It's a nice little drive, whatever. I don't know why, but I love to like put my hand on like the headrest or shoulder rest, or just like on his like shoulder kind of thing. And I'll just gotta like give him a little massage kind of thing when he's driving.
So cute.
Mostly I do the driving nowadays, but when he drives, I'm usually like over here kind of giving him a little something. Anywho, so I did that.
Oh, yeah.
And homeboy thought it was so smart, because he was wearing a hoodie. He thought he was so smart by putting the ring box in the hood. It was so good.
Oh, my.
So, yeah, he put the ring box in the hood. I felt it, and I just did a like kind of freeze moment. And he knew.
Oh, no.
I tried to play it off like nothing happened, but
like,
he knew.
I'm cool. You're cool. We're both cool.
Yeah. Anywho, so that happened on the way over. So obviously I knew I was going to get a ring on my finger that evening. So get to the park. We're walking around. We're feeding ducks, being all cute. There's no tulips, whatever kind of a thing. I was like, it's still pretty. It's still cute. Anywho, this rando chick walks up and is like, hey, we're filming a music video over here. And we were supposed to have like a couple just kind of stand there and be cute, maybe like dance around a little bit, but just like kind of cuddle and be cutesy in this music video, as like kind of B-roll for the song. And they bailed. Could you just step in, kind of a thing?
And you're miffed.
She's recording me at this time, and my face says everything that like, I'm about to get engaged, honey. Like,
Get out of the way.
go away. Not catching on. Anywho, so we go over there. They're starting to film this cutie little music video. They're singing Perfect by Ed Sheeran, which is like our song at this point. And we're just kind of like dancing, being all cutesy, cuddling and whatnot. Anywho.
Are you still just like Okay, like when is this going to end so that he can kneel down, or are you
It kind of like got halfway through that I was like, okay, something maybe is happening here. But when he started like dancing, I was like, okay, he's getting into it. This is fun. This is kind of cute. I was like, okay, this isn't that bad.
I can wait.
Right. And then it took me a second and I was like, maybe this is it. Anywho, so then he like spins around mid-song, ends up on his knee. The spin took a little longer because he was like trying to
get the ring box out.
There's footage, like I said.
It's like
It was not that long, but it felt like long probably for him.
Oh, I'm sure he felt like it was at least 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Trying to get the ring out.
Right. Digging out of that hood. I don't know why he didn't move it.
The hood was just not a good idea.
It was not a good idea.
He should have practiced.
Like
should
I
have
said,
role-played.
Homeboy thought he was doing something cool there. He was
so
smart.
Awesome.
Anywho, but no, so he proposed. It was really cute. It was very sweet. And then our friends popped out and brought us flowers, and it was really cute. And then we FaceTimed our parents. We're like, I got engaged, and it was really fun. So
cute.
Yeah, it was really cute. I love it.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love a good proposal story. And
Yeah,
I love that there's like some classic, like you find out a little bit before, you try to play it off.
I know.
He kind of tricked you still.
It reminds me of like Bride Wars when they're like, they find the ring.
And they're like, no, wait.
Put it away. Nothing's happening.
I don't know anything.
I don't know anything. Cute little, wrapped up bow box in there, Anyway.
That's so cute.
Yeah.
I
I
love
definitely had that moment.
Okay, now tell us a little bit about your wedding day. Like
Okay.
where, when,
Yeah.
colors, all the details.
Okay, so we got married in Provo. There's 2 temples that are options there in Provo, but we got married in the Provo City Center Temple, which is right off of Center Street. And it used to be a tabernacle, most beautiful building in the area, I feel like.
Oh, for sure.
Rachmaninoff himself played there. Beautiful. Anywho, so it's just a really cool, beautiful, historic building that has been converted into a temple where they perform sealings and kind of quote unquote LDS weddings kind of a thing.
Yeah.
So we got married at about 1:00 in the afternoon, which was ideal. Pro tip: get married just after like kind of lunchtime.
Seriously, do not get married in the morning.
No, don't do it. So I'm staying at a hotel with all my bridesmaids in the hotel, like across the street, basically. So sad that Kai was not part of that group.
It's okay.
Every time I think about it, I'm like, that was so dumb.
Yikes.
That was so dumb. But I had so much fun. We like hung out in the hotel room that morning. I actually had I had a scheduled appointment to get my hair and makeup done that day, and I canceled it because I was like, I know I'm going to do it better than whoever's going to try and do it for me. I was just too scared, and I'm so particular and picky, so I just did it myself. Yeah. And it turned out fine. And
especially if you've never practiced with them.
Right, I hadn't.
Like, I feel like if you had done it with them before, then maybe you could have gone
maybe
for that.
that was the issue, is we didn't do a trial run or anything. I'm always like scared when someone's like, nah, just do it the day of. I'm like, really? You sure? Like, okay. Anywho, so no, I was staying in the hotel across the street. We were able to just kind of get up, relax, get food, and then Eager brought me flowers that morning, and that was super fun. We watched The Princess Diaries as we were getting ready, and it was so fun just to like hang out with my girls and get ready. So then we got married, like I said, at about 1:00. There's like a whole packet of information that you get before you're supposed to be there at the temple, and you're supposed to be there like an hour and a half, 2 hours or something like that beforehand. And we got that part about what time we were supposed to show up. But it also says you're supposed to like have a parent with you, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
I did not. And neither did he. We didn't read the packet instructions very well. And so they were like, well, what are you going to do without your parents there, kind of a thing. And
like
so,
an escort,
yeah,
right?
So you're supposed to have like, I don't really know why. They're just supposed to like hang out with you until it's time, basically. Even though like I'm there to get married to my husband. Anywho.
I only remember my escort just like helping me in the bride's room, and that's it.
Yeah. And I'm pretty sure that's all that happens.
Yeah.
And I think they want you to be there super early because they know people are running late on their wedding day anyway.
Yeah.
I truly believe that's what it was.
Yeah.
I think they've changed things now because of COVID and people getting married during that time. You had to be in and out in like 15 minutes, basically. It was so fast. But So we did not have a parent, each of us, with us. And so they just let us hang out together. And we just sat and talked and hung out. And my grandpa was the one that married us. And so my grandpa came and talked to us for a while. And it was really cool. It was so cool. And yeah, we were able to just kind of be in such a quiet, sacred, beautiful place. And then when it was time, they came and got us and we got married. Did the sealing and then walked out, did the whole like woohoo kind of thing. We did it kind of thing, got married. And then we did like a little luncheon after with a family friend. He does really good barbecue. So we did barbecue for a little bit there. And obviously that was like after pictures and all of that fun stuff. And it ended up being just like slightly overcast that day. We got married in July and the lighting, the weather, everything, because it rained a little bit. Like while we were getting married.
That's perfect for pictures. I was going to say the one downside to getting married in the afternoon is like that's like the harshest light. So that's why people are like, yeah, I'll get married in the morning. Yeah. But then you're exhausted.
Yeah. But it was perfect.
That's so good.
It rained just like sprinkled kind of a thing. And it made everything look so green and beautiful. So then we, did all the pictures there, ate a little lunch, kind of hung out for a little bit. And then everyone, I guess everyone else kind of hung out, but Eager and I we went up and did like a drive up the canyon, up one of the canyons there in Provo. It's called Slate Canyon. Slate Canyon. And he had gotten us these journals and we just kind of sat there and talked about our whole wedding experience kind of thing and sat and wrote in our journals. And that's what we did right after we got married.
That's so awesome.
And then we went to our reception, and that was up in Vivian Park area. There's like a kind of reception ranch area.
It's so beautiful.
Yeah.
Up the Provo Canyon. So gorgeous.
And because it had rained just a little bit, it was like, I don't know, 75, 80 degrees.
Yeah, it wasn't too hot.
No.
Even for July.
Yeah. I remember I was walking around without shoes everywhere and it was so fun. We had a lot of food. We had a lot of like Indian food and Ukrainian food because my family is from India. My mom's side of the family is from India and my husband's from Ukraine, obviously. And so we had a bunch of mixes of food and had a lot of people. I sang a song. We did the dance and, shoved cake in each other's face. And
classics.
Our colors you were asking. They were kind of like French blue and peach. So
cute.
Kind of soft.
Yeah, your wedding was so beautiful. I loved it. It was like really springy and like bright and happy and pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm really happy with how it turned out. I think it was beautiful. My favorite part was where we did our reception because Eager had kind of always talked about it as where he wanted to have a reception. Like even before we were like engaged or anything, he's like, I just love this place.
Which having an outdoor reception is really hard.
Yeah, it can be.
Because you just can't
predict it.
Yeah, you can't predict the weather. But it literally was like perfect.
Yeah. They have this really pretty little kind of, what do you call it? The white thing in the middle where it's like hexagonal shaped.
Like a pavilion.
Kind of like a pavilion. What is that called?
Oh, I just had it in my mind and
not a pergola.
Yeah.
I don't know what it's called, but that thing.
One of those. Rolling hills with grass.
Right. Yeah.
Water.
Yeah, there's like a little stream through it and everything. Anywho, so that was just the most magical part of it for sure, because that's where he wanted to have a reception. And then a family friend had connections. I was able to get us like a really good discount on it. So
that's so nice.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah, it was really fun.
I love it.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we're gonna ask a couple more questions because I'm just like,
well, then it's my turn to ask you questions soon too.
Okay, deal.
Yeah,
but I just love I love hearing all the like background and everything. But I'm also curious, like, since you guys have gotten married, reflecting on almost 6 years of marriage.
Yeah,
can you believe that we're coming up on 6 years married to our husbands?
Crazy.
How has your relationship evolved and grown since your wedding day?
Whoa, that's a good one. So I would say it has grown and evolved a lot because I personally have grown and evolved a lot. I've gone through a lot of personal challenges that I kind of needed to overcome. And in my brain, I just kept thinking like, this isn't going to really work out actually between Eager and I. And there were a couple of pretty sure times in there where I was like, we need to get divorced. And I was like, I don't think this is going to work out. I don't know why I doubted, but that's just a me thing, you know?
You were working through stuff.
I was working through stuff. And then Eager did what he has always done. And it was just like, I'm here.
Steady.
I don't think that's the right idea.
I feel like from an outside perspective, again, like
Yeah.
watching you and Eager, the one thing I absolutely love about your relationship and about the way that Eager communicates with you and everything too is he really is like a steady force.
Yeah.
And he is super, super loyal.
Yeah.
In like the very best ways.
And if you know him, then you know that about him. You know that he is incredibly loyal. I don't know anyone more loyal than my husband.
Yeah.
And so I've learned so much about being a friend and, you know, just a person from him. And I think I just thought that I was changing too much, or that I wasn't getting what I needed from him to be this new person. But it was also my fault because I wasn't really bringing him along in that journey and being like, hey, this is what I'm needing from you. It was like, I'm changing, I'm doing all these things. And
you felt like you were alone in that.
Yeah. Which was so dumb because he was there the entire time.
Yeah.
So dumb.
But sometimes it's hard to notice, like recognize that too.
Mm-hmm. And I think I try to be independent as well. I think I try to be, I think I try to do things on my own, and
I can do this by myself.
I don't need any help. I don't need anyone, you know, which is so weird because that's, you know, that's what you sign up for when you get married. It's like, I'm going to do these things with my husband, you know?
Yeah.
So and
it is better to have someone.
Yeah.
Ultimately, even as an independent person.
Absolutely. And that's what I learned is like, you should be growing. You should be evolving, you know, and that will cause things to change and shift and evolve in your relationship. And that's a good thing.
Yeah. I love it.
Yeah.
I love the story. I love that it's just going to continue to evolve and grow. And genuinely, like, what I'm hoping from our stories, like, obviously they're cutesy, fun love stories, but I also hope that you can be thinking and reflecting on your own experiences and thinking about the kind of relationship you want to be crafting, because it's a process. Mm-hmm. It's not like, oh, we loved each other then, and so it just lasts forever and it's easy. Like, it really is a daily thing that you have to be thinking and working on. And so I think stories like this can be so inspiring. Mm-hmm. And I'm excited for you guys to get to know Eager and Marlie a little bit on the podcast too, because they're cuties. They're so fun. So I love your story. Yeah. I love it. So cute. That's all my questions for now.
Okay, cool. My turn. All right. Well, so then we're going to start over with the same questions then.
Okay, cool.
How did you and Hiram meet?
So again, with a Ukrainian theme here. So Hiram, me, and Marlie, my husband is named Hiram. We all served in the Kyiv, Ukraine mission. And I was there, let's see, how long before him? 6 months or so, I think.
I think so, yeah.
I was there about 6 months before him. So I was super seasoned missionary.
Absolutely. Your Russian was perfect.
Just kidding. Oh my gosh. But you really feel like you know quite a bit.
Right. Yes.
And he came into the mission. I never served in like any huge areas or cities that had a lot of missionaries in them. So I only ever got to know like a few elders. And at the very beginning of his mission, we met on a train coming from the south end of our mission to the north end of our mission. Mm-hmm. And it's an overnight train. It's about 10 hours. And we were all getting transferred up to the north end of our mission. Anyway, on these trains, which are from the Soviet Union era, like old, super old trains, you have to...
They're gross. They're gross.
They're gross. And it's like really small rooms, right? And you have to be really aware of when your stop is coming up, because it will do stops. And there's not really a lot of warning. They don't really announce them. And you have to
like this. You have to just be paying attention.
In Russian and Ukrainian.
Yeah.
And you just have to jump off the train like pretty fast. They don't stop at the stations for a long, long time. We had 10 missionaries going from the south to the north. and we all had 3 pieces of luggage with us, like roller bags, big roller bags. So it's the feet.
Your entire life.
Yeah.
Moving with you.
So there's all elders, 8 elders, and then me and my companion. And we were, well, not my companion, but me and another sister who were traveling up to get transferred to a new area. And it's the morning time. We've had the night. I didn't notice him the night before. Again, I just like, I don't know, I was just like really focused, you know? And so in the morning time, it's our stop, and we're all trying to get 10 people with 3 bags each off of this thing. The platform also, like the train is up here, and the platform, I swear, is like 6 feet from the train door. And there are some stairs, but it's still like a big
steep
jump. Yeah. And so we are passing bags down, and we're all trying to help each other. And at the time, his name was Elder England to me, not Hiram.
Right.
Elder England turns around and he says, "Hey, Sister Karen, can I help you with your bags?" And I am also an independent spirit. And I looked at him and I said, "I am not a sack of potatoes."
Why was that what came out of your mouth?
Stupidest comment ever. I don't know. I don't say that. It's not a thing I have ever said before. I've never said again. And I ripped my bag back from him.
Oh.
And then just proceeded to absolutely so gracefully just clunk it down the stairs to the platform. All of them by myself. All 3 of them. Just clunk, 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 all the way down. And he was like, "Okay, so not
Never
a super
mind.
nice sister." But okay. He's like, "I'm just trying to be a gentleman," you know? So that was a really fun first impression. And then I absolutely forgot he existed because I was just so focused on my missionary work. And then at the end of my mission, so the rest of my mission went by, you know, it's a 1.5-year mission for girls. Mm-hmm. And I'm in my last couple transfers. I've been in an area for almost 10 months. I loved it. It was my favorite place ever. Again, also super small. So it was just 2 sisters and 2 elders that served in that area. And he got transferred into that area while you were my companion.
Yes, I was there.
She was there. And when we were first getting to know the elders, well, I knew the other one, but I just kept being like, why is Elder England so cold and like offish to me? Because I was like, there's only 4 of us, and we all have to kind of be friends, like to survive in this area together, you know?
It's very lonely sometimes.
And you meet quite often as missionaries for lots of various things. District meetings and church and English practices and lots of things. And so I just remember he like wouldn't really talk to me. Mm-hmm. And I thought he had issues with me, and that really bothered me because I was like, we're all friends here. Yeah. Like, this is a tight-knit group, you know? And so finally, I think at one point I did ask him, I was like, "Do you have like an issue with me? Like, what's going on?" And he was like, "No, you were just kind of offish the first time I met you," and relayed the training experience, of which I had 0 recollection. Again, the potato thing isn't something I say. And so I was like,
I'm like, where did that come from?
I don't know. I'm just like, I could do anything by myself. So anyway, we cleared that up, became quick friends. He was a stellar elder in that area. The old babushki there were obsessed with his light blue eyes. Mm-hmm. They would like grab his face and like look into his eyes and say he had such beautiful eyes. And like I said, since there were only 4 of us in this area, we became really close. We had quite a few crazy things happen over those couple transfers. I had a companion who was super sick. We had to break her out of a hospital, like all kinds of things to get into another day. But the elders were just like really amazing constants. And I loved the way that he talked to people. I loved the way that he was just like a really good friend to everybody. And I genuinely was like, that is a good elder. Like, that's like the kind of person I want to be like. But I was not thinking romantically at all. I had an on again, off again boyfriend situation at home, writing and things. At that point, we were really off, but like, I just was dedicated to finishing out my mission, focusing solely on my purpose for being there, and just like talking to the Ukrainian people and speaking the language and all those things. So that was all that was in my mind. But I did also have a really good friendship with him. So I leave my mission, my last day in Ukraine. My companion, Sister Baker, at the time, she was like, "Hey, so I just want to say something to you." And she's like, "I know you're not like thinking about this at all, so don't be mad." But when you get home, you should like maybe write Elder England. And I was like, sister, who do you think I am? Like, I am a perfect, wholesome person. I'm not thinking about any of, I'm literally going home the next day. Anyway, and she's like, I know. But like, even if it's just for friendship, she's like, I just have to tell you that like the way you guys communicate and the way you guys treat each other and the way that this whole transfer's gone down, I just think maybe there's something there.
Okay.
And that was the first like moment in my head where I was like, Elder England. Interesting. Yeah. Like, huh.
That's funny.
And when they came to like see me off, he had a note in his pocket that said, "Can I hug you?" in Russian.
That's so funny.
Because missionaries aren't supposed to hug each other.
Right.
Members of the opposite sex.
Yeah.
And he was acting super shy and awkward.
I don't know this part.
And I was like, huh. And I didn't know this till later.
Yeah.
He actually saved the note and I've seen it now. But he didn't ask me because he was too scared.
Oh, he didn't give you that?
No, he had it
funny.
in his pocket because he wanted to say it to me and he was practicing how to say it in Russian.
How cute.
But then he was like, no, and got too nervous. And so we didn't hug. I came home and that was that.
Didn't even know it was on his radar.
Yeah.
He's just being a little weird.
Yeah. So that was kind of the beginning of just like how we met. So initial impression, I didn't remember him and I was not so nice.
Okay.
And then I came home.
Oh, I love that. Okay. Cool. So then we need to jump ahead and figure out how you reconnected and then some.
Yeah.
Became girlfriend and boyfriend.
He's such a good human. I'm so glad I ended up with him. I'm like, it's fun to talk about this.
It's so fun.
I think it's really fun.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I'm home and hating life because I wanted to be in Ukraine so bad. And I really, really was sad to be home back in America. Yeah. I went to BYU the first morning in America. So like I had no transition period at all. And so I literally just jumped straight into school, started trying to transition from being an awkward little missionary and getting into dating and all that stuff. I met a guy who I almost married. Yeah. And this was really interesting because Elder England and I would sometimes write emails back and forth, but they were always like very much, hey, you're in this area and you're teaching someone I taught, or you're baptized so-and-so, can you check up on so-and-so? But then a couple times, like if he was on and I happened to be awake because you go to bed so late in college, right? We would like talk back and forth. And I didn't think we were flirting at all. But now when I look back at the emails, I'm like, we were flirting. We were very hardcore flirting. But I was just like, yeah, we're just like, you know, staying missionary connected on all the people in Ukraine. That's what I kept telling myself. Yeah. I dated a guy. I was getting really serious, obviously, since I said I almost married him. Yeah. And at one point, when I was trying to figure out if I wanted to marry him, I asked my dad, I said, this is going to sound super weird, but like, what about Elder England? And my dad's like, I don't know. What about Elder England?
What about him?
And I legitimately was like, why did I even have that thought? That's so weird. We're just friends and we've never been romantic. He's still a missionary in Ukraine. We don't know each other outside of that. And so that's like super weird for me to be thinking that. But I really enjoyed writing him occasionally. And then obviously that relationship didn't work out with the other guy.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Someone had to say it.
Yeah. I love it.
I love how like we kind of had that kind of similar vibe where it was like, hallelujah, it didn't work out with the other dude.
Oh, like, yay, good. So anyway, Hiram and I keep writing. I go back to Ukraine a year after my mission. He was almost done with his mission. I didn't see him there, but he was still a missionary in Ukraine. I was with my parents. I remember the plane landing.
Sorry, I was just going to say, I saw him as a missionary. I went back as well, and I saw him. It's weird stuff. You're like, I'm not a missionary, but you are. It's some weird stuff.
Overlapping. It's a weird feeling.
It's so weird.
There's so many more rules as a missionary too, so it's just awkward. So anyway, I land when the plane lands. I look over to my dad, and I'm like, I want to marry Elder England.
Oh.
And he's like, okay. And I'm like, that is so weird. I haven't seen him in a year, and I'm not going to see him here. He's still a missionary. Again, we just have this like friendship relationship. We email sometimes. Yeah. But I was like, I have never seen a better person in my life. And I was like, I want to marry him. And so at the time I was dating like 5 guys, and it was getting like kind of to the point where I needed to make a choice about like which route I was going to go.
Yeah.
They were all amazing guys. Well, most of them were really amazing guys. And so in my head,
some of them had some growth to go through first.
But I was like, there's like prospects at home. And I literally turned to my dad and I was like, do not let me get a boyfriend. When we go home, don't let me start dating someone, because I want to be available if he comes home in case anything happens.
Right.
And I knew that like nothing was gonna happen, but I was like, just in case. So the whole time we're in Ukraine, I don't see him, but I left him like a birthday present in his mailbox.
What was it?
I have no idea.
Oh no.
I don't remember.
Okay.
But I just like was in love with him. So I go home and I realize how stupid I was, because again, I don't know him. There's no like romantic chemistry. I haven't seen this kid in a year. He's still a missionary. Right. He's from Wyoming. He's going to go to BYU, Idaho. I live in Utah. I was just like, this is so weird.
Yeah.
So like, I should not even be thinking about this. And got a boyfriend like 2 days later, because like I said, I had prospects. And so I was like, all right.
What'd your dad do?
My dad was like, Kai, come on. And this was funny because my dad was never, it's not like he wasn't supportive, but he was never just like, send it with that guy. Yeah. You know? But for some reason, he had never even met Elder England. But all my stories and stuff, he was just like, I think you should marry that guy. So anyway.
That's so funny.
Long story short, get a boyfriend. Elder England comes home from his mission. I'm like a very vivid dreamer, and I'm having like lots of vivid dreams and nightmares.
Yeah, you have crazy dreams.
Yeah, I do. That we keep trying to meet up, and there's like always something blocking us. Mm-hmm. Like I live in a glass castle and he can't like get into it or like whatever. And so it was like kind of these like what if dreams. Oh. And they were really gnawing at me. I'm dating a guy and he wanted things to get a lot more serious than I wanted them to. And I was very nervous about all of that. And so again, just what if Elder England, Elder England? So I know he's home. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to reach out to him. I'm going to Facebook message him and just say, hey, welcome home.
Yeah.
I'm still, dating this other guy, but I'm just going to say, welcome back. Like, congrats.
You made it.
You made it.
You did it.
I really wanted to go to his homecoming, but I was like, that's so weird. It's in Wyoming. I would have to drive there by myself. I haven't seen him in forever. Like, no, I'm not doing that. So anyway, I write him this Facebook message. He immediately responds, and then we do not stop talking the rest of the day. And so I was like, awesome. I'm breaking up with my boyfriend. Aww. I literally went over that night and I was like, hey, this isn't working out. And he's like, I thought we were gonna get married. And I was like, nope.
No.
And I think I'm gonna go hire him.
Wait, did you go to Wyoming?
I didn't. Okay. I didn't go because I still felt like that was super weird.
Oh, okay.
I needed it to be more organic. I didn't want him to know that I was coming into it like hot.
That you're like, I'm gonna marry that dude.
Yeah. I was like, whoo, we gotta like.
See, I don't even think I knew that you were like, I'm gonna marry.
I was very secretive about it because I was like, this is so weird. And like, if it doesn't work out, I'm going to be crushed. Yeah. And I'm putting all my eggs in this basket. And I just knew I was like being crazy.
I mean, but isn't that kind of cute? Especially now that it's worked out.
Yeah, but I was just like, I can't. No. So I was very, in fact, I even had a code name for him because I didn't want like even you to know that I was like interested in him.
This is also when we weren't like friends either. So that's another part of it. Wait, what was this code name?
His middle name's Hunter.
Yeah.
And then, so I called him Hunter.
Okay.
And then his last name was Murr because it's Hiram backwards, but just the end. So Murr, Hunter Murr.
Ah. So you had this whole spy game of like, okay, I want to be all about him and only him, but I don't want anyone to know about it.
Yeah. So when people started asking me like, who are you like going on dates? I was like, oh, this Hunter kid. Like, Hunter who? I'm like, oh, his name's Hunter Murr. Is he on socials? No.
Did you?
Yeah. He's not on socials.
What?
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh.
But the best part about like him and I at the beginning, we just could not stop texting. And so I was like, obviously there's something here.
There's something.
But again, you don't know if this person who I have only ever been platonic with, if there's going to be chemistry or romance or anything, or if he feels the same way. Again, he was going to school at BYU, Idaho.
So weird.
I was going to Provo. I literally practiced hugging my brother like 100 times because we had only ever shook hands. So I was like, if I see him at a mission reunion, which is where we first saw each other, like, how are we going to hug? How's that going to be? I was so stressed out. My eyes were bloodshot red at that reunion when I first saw him for the first time.
No pressure is so what I'm hearing.
Out. Yep. So
you're like, hi, I want to marry you.
I was just like, I don't know what will happen, but this is insane. Like, I can't be doing this. And I just knew him as a missionary. And regular life is different than that. Yeah. So we jumped into, saw each other at a mission reunion.
Yeah.
And we went to the fire after.
Eager and I were there. Mm-hmm. I don't think Eager went to the fire. I don't know.
No, I don't think he did.
I don't think he did. He also got some other random girl's number that day. It wasn't a random girl. She was one of our companions. But he got some other girl's name or number that night too.
That's so funny. Oh my God.
He shot the shot.
He did. Good for him.
Yeah.
You know, you're there to shop a little, so I get it. I was there for one person.
Nope. She had signed, sealed, delivered, ready to go.
Yeah. So we did a fire, and then he kept finding excuses to come down to Utah.
Yeah.
And they were always for his family or something mission related. And that started to really bother me because I knew he was coming down to see me and he couldn't say it. And I was like, just say
family.
So I was like, fine, I'm going to like date up a storm then. So he would come down to see me to be with his family.
Right.
And I'd be like, oh yeah, well, I'm not available for like breakfast or lunch because I'm on dates. And then I would post pictures on my stories on
so
dates
petty.
with these other guys.
So petty because he couldn't own up to the fact that he was like, I'm into you.
Like, if he needs a chase, I don't know what he needs, but like, I am a hot commodity.
You were. Absolutely.
I'm trying to prove that. And anyway, and you know what? He doesn't like that part of the story, but it worked. He saw me on a date in one of his favorite dresses that I wore, and he was like,
not about that.
No. I want her. And he started getting a little bit more bold. We dated long distance for the whole first beginning of our relationship because he was going to BYU, Idaho. Mm-hmm. I was here in Provo. And it was fun, but crazy because we mainly FaceTimed, and he would drive down on weekends because I worked on weekends.
Yeah.
And we would stay up till 4 a.m. because we knew we had that one day together, you know? And so it was like we would stay up. He would drive back.
What you do for love.
Literally. He would drive back and go to his 8 a.m. class.
Yeah.
At BYU, Idaho.
And fail his Russian
any sleep
tests.
Fail his Russian tests.
That one was so bad.
Oh, so many good things. We were so tired, so freaking in love, and we just could not stop talking.
Or touching.
Yeah. So I loved it.
What fun times.
Yeah. It was so
good. So you were talking about the fire, right? And I remember that night and totally scoping out all the guys there. I didn't know that you were just like already in your brain.
I didn't want anyone to know that because I thought it would also be like competitive.
Yeah.
You know, like especially between us at the time where we were having so much competition.
We were kind of weird, yeah.
So I was like, if she knows I'm into him, maybe she'll go for him.
Oh, glad that didn't happen. But I do remember very vividly in my brain that you guys were in charge of like putting out the fire.
Yeah.
And I don't remember why, but I was like walking with you guys and I felt so awkward. I was like, oh yeah, I'll come help. And I think in my brain it was like, well, because all three of us were like together at that one point. Mm-hmm. But you were just sitting there talking with him and I was just like awkwardly hanging back and I was like,
no, in my brain I was like, this is the moment where he's gonna hold my hand and Marlie is like right behind us.
I'm killing it with this third wheel.
Like, I literally was like, get lost. No.
Oh my gosh. So I'm glad it wasn't awkward. It wasn't just me that was like, this is weird. This is awkward.
It was awkward for all of
I apologize for intruding.
You didn't know. You didn't know.
I didn't. You didn't say anything.
I mean, it was all on it was all. I'm a mastermind.
Yes.
Now he's mine. Just kidding.
What if none of it was accidental? in the first place.
Yeah. If any of you
Nothing was going to stop her. Anywho.
Nothing. Truly.
Yeah.
If any of you didn't get that reference,
I don't know if we
go
can be
school
friends.
yourselves. Just kidding. You got to learn it. It's important.
You got to know. It's one of my favorites, actually.
Yeah. It's honestly one of mine, too.
One of
I'm
my
like,
favorites,
yeah, I relate.
Yeah.
This is gold.
T-Swift. I love it. Awesome. Okay.
What else do you want to know?
No. Boyfriend, girlfriend.
Okay, yeah.
So he kind of became more bold.
Yeah.
Did you have a DTR? Also, for those of you who don't know what DTR is, it's a weird term for, I don't know why we have
Define the relationship.
I don't know why this is what we call it. And
Yeah.
it's such like a cultural thing within.
Is it just in Utah, you think?
Well, so no, I heard about it because I went to BYU, Idaho.
Okay, so
but I think it's like a.
So it's a member of our church thing.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's a member of the church, kind of like the way that they date, kind of a thing.
Ooh.
We definitely have kind of waterfall. We do have kind of some interesting traditions and dating, courting habits.
Yeah. We had a DTR
Yeah. Okay.
because we were long distance.
Mm-hmm.
And
It's expensive.
yeah.
Gas money, y'all.
And he literally had, like, I went up there a couple times and found out that he was not even eating during the week. So he could have enough money to come see me.
Oh my gosh.
I know.
That's so sad.
So we would go buy groceries for like the day that I was there or
Yeah.
whatever. And literally I'd buy like a week's worth of groceries because I was like, this is crazy. Like he needs groceries.
Yes. You also had the highest paying job at the time
So high.
through BYU.
Yeah.
So you could afford groceries.
Yeah. No, literally. I was like, and he would be like, we don't need all this food for like one day. And I was like, of course we do. We need 7 meals
Yeah.
for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Right. Yeah.
14 meals. But it was better than him just eating literally peanut butter and jelly and bread. That's what he would buy because for a whole week, because he's like, I need to have gas money to go see Kai. I'm like, oh, killer. Anyway. So in October, end of October is when we became officially boyfriend and girlfriend on Halloween, actually. We were, I went up to Idaho. We had been dating long distance for a couple months. And again, this was one of those situations where like I was trying to get more out of him because I'm like, I really like him. I can tell he really likes me, but he won't like own up to saying it.
Yeah.
So I was like, is he gonna tell me like we're exclusive?
Yeah.
Or does he want to keep dating around? And I really didn't want him to date around, but obviously I was like, he has to do what he has to do.
Right.
And for me, I'd had a lot of dating experience and I had dated a lot of guys, both after high school, pre-mission, and then after my mission. But he had literally come home from his mission and started talking to me.
Yeah.
So it was like
Whatever you need to do.
first adult, relationship. For me, I'd had a lot of time.
Right.
So I was understanding, but I also was just like I want to see where this can go with him. So we need to get to the point where this is either exclusive or we're not.
Right.
And so we had a really fun time. We dressed up as double stuffed Oreos.
Yeah.
We like drew them, put them on our back. We went to a Halloween party.
So cute.
And then he drove me up onto the roof of some building, like where they have like a parking garage up, and we were going to go stargazing or whatever. And we were absolutely making out.
Absolutely.
Because what else do you do?
Stargazing.
And he was like, I just want to date you. And I was like,
Okay.
awesome. We are on the same page.
Yep.
And then in that same moment, he says, I think I'm falling in love with you.
Oh.
And I was like, I am in love with you.
Oh.
And then he was like, okay, cool. Me too. And so then we made out a lot more.
I'm dying. That's so cute.
It was so cute and romantic. The back windows were all steamy.
Oh my gosh,
I
it's
was
the best.
I literally was, I have never been in more heaven, like in bliss. I was just like, this is like dream come true. He is like the perfect human. And
cute.
I was so happy.
Oh.
So that was our boyfriend girlfriend
Okay.
defining moment.
Got it. Cool.
We love Halloween still. It's so fun. Dress up, make out.
Yeah.
All the things.
All the things. Even when you got fake blood coming from your face.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. Okay. So then we get to the proposal.
This one was super fun. So we were officially boyfriend and girlfriend at the end of October, obviously Halloween. And then we had to make a hard decision of, are we ever going to bring this like locally, or are we just going to continue to date long distance? Like, it was getting a lot more serious, obviously. And we wanted to see if we were to see each other more frequently and not just talking on the phone.
Yeah.
Like, what would happen? And that was a really, really hard decision for us to make because we both were going to 2 different colleges. And so it wasn't just like, oh yeah, I'll move to you or whatever. It was really, really hard for us. And we felt like if we moved, that would put so much pressure on it working out or not.
Right.
But we were also like, we kind of need to be closer to each other to see if we can get there to the point where we want to get married. But if we make that move for a girl or for a boy and it doesn't work, like how awkward, you know, and how like I'm changing my whole life for a person.
Yeah.
And so we felt a lot of pressure, like, do we need to know now before we move?
Right.
Or should we just go on faith? And if it doesn't work out, I've changed my whole life for somebody.
Right.
So it was really, really freaky.
Oh, it's scary.
And I had an amazing job at BYU. I was teaching at the Missionary Training Center. I loved it. Like Marlie said, it was like the highest paying BYU job you could have, which is not saying much.
I think it's still only like 15 or 16 bucks an hour.
I think it was 17.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It was
Raking
it in.
Yeah.
But I loved it, though. It brought me a lot of fulfillment. So I remember at this point, Hiram has a conversation with his dad, and his dad gave him really good advice about faith is taking action, and it's making the small footsteps. And that if it doesn't work out, like, all is not lost, you know? But he's like, where do you see yourself? Like, can you see yourself marrying her? Do you want to find out?
Yeah.
Because there's only one way. You have to fully go all in.
That's what I had to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or not.
Yeah.
And if it's not, then that means it's over, you know? So it's like, if this is something you want to find out bad enough, then you have to fully commit and fully dive into faith and take those footsteps. And so Hiram left BYU, Idaho, and moved down to Utah to date me. And it was so magical. I just absolutely loved him and everything, and I could not get enough time with him. I hated the good nights. I hated saying goodbye. I hated any moment I wasn't with him. He was just like constantly on my mind, and it was so fun to finally like be able to see each other almost every day.
Yeah, instead of a 3.5 hour drive one way.
Once a week at the end of the week for like a 1 day period. It was so fun. So,
and Kai has a lead foot. So, I mean, it was still like a 3-hour drive.
Not 4.5.
Yeah. So.
No, and it was really, really amazing. And I knew I wanted to marry him. It was like really never a question for me with him, which is interesting because with other guys it was for sure.
Yeah.
But I just knew he was good to the core. He was my very best friend in the entire world.
Aww.
And I knew like we would have such a beautiful life together and we would be able to grow together forever. So I was like, yeah, like no brainer. Yeah. He's my person. Him moving to Utah solidified that. So
sweet.
Flash forward, he's thinking about proposing to me. I'm worried that the temple's going to get booked out. So I go ahead and book the temple.
Just in case.
Even though he had not proposed yet.
Had you had a conversation though that you're like, oh, we're most likely?
No, it wasn't most likely. It's like we're getting married. He just hadn't like officially done like the here's your ring to,
okay,
like,
see, I did that too. Okay, yeah.
You know?
Yeah, this is what I mean by like weird courtship traditions. Yeah. Is you were engaged to be engaged. That's like an official thing where like same thing. We sat down, had a whole like plan for the temple, had like the date, we started planning out everything. And I think maybe 2 or 3 months later was when the ring ended up on my finger.
Yeah. So... And you kind of have to move fast because, again, I got married in the Provo City Center Temple, just like Marlie. And we knew we wanted to get married like late spring, early summer. Yeah. And so it was like, it was February, okay? But I'm like, it's going to be booked out. Yeah. And when I called them, they had 2 spots left in May.
Oh my gosh.
So I was like,
that was it?
I'm right to do this. So we knew we were going to get married, but I didn't tell him I was booking the temple.
Okay.
Because I was like, I don't know. I just thought that might scare him, even though we were for sure getting married. And I was like, I can always cancel it. But I didn't know when you call the temple and you book something, they get both of all your contact information and they send you confirmation. Right. Both of you.
Yeah.
So then I had to go steal his phone. My roommates were helping me steal his phone. They're like, can I look up a song on your phone? Like deleting the emails and like.
That's so funny. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I was always a spy.
You couldn't just let him know, hey, I booked the temple.
No, I was like, just like gonna do that and then we'll cancel it if like things need to happen.
Exactly.
But I booked it for a morning and that is like my one regret with my wedding and too much yellow in my flowers. Ooh. Anyway, but the proposal, my birthday is February 1st. Yeah. He proposed to me February 10th. He had been working on a birthday gift for me and he hadn't completed it on my birthday. Okay. So on February 10th, he was like, hey, I'm going to take you to get your birthday present before you go out and have a girls' night tonight. Okay. So I knew we had like an hour and a half max time together before I was going to go have a girls' night. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, I like thought something was going to happen that day. I told my missionaries, I was like, I think the next time you see me, I'm going to be engaged. But then I was like, I don't know, that's weird. And then I checked his location on my phone and he was in a weird spot in Provo. And I had no idea what was going on. But I was like, why is he next to, it was like some like sandwich shop for like 6 hours. I was like, what is he doing? Like,
just stalking him the entire time.
I just felt like something was going to happen.
Something is happening.
But I didn't know what, you know? And I was like, anyway.
I love this.
So excited. So it's an absolute blizzard.
Yeah.
On February 10th. And I knew we had an hour and a half or whatever. And I was really hungry, so I made myself like a bagel and cream cheese. Yeah. I'm sitting down, hanging out.
You're celiac, but
yeah, this was pre those days.
Yeah.
And then he's like, I really want to take you to get your gift. I was like, well, is it going to take like a long time? And he's like, no. And I'm like, well, we have plenty of time before my girls' night then. I have no like rush. And I had thought previously earlier that day I was going to get engaged. But again, he kept talking about like the gift he was going to give me and how it was super short before I go to my girls' night. So I was like, there's no way he's like proposing to me tonight. Otherwise, it would be like him wanting to dedicate like tonight, you know, to each other and everything. And so I'm just thinking, I'll just take my time. He's like, hey, I really need to give you your gift. Like, let's go. I'm like, can we drop something off at my coworker's house today? Because he had a really hard day and I'd love to like go give him a gift and like talk to him for a little bit. And he's like, yeah, sure. Sounds great.
Rough.
I'd take probably 30 minutes at this coworker's place.
Some other dude.
Yeah. Which we were all just like friends. And I was just being nice.
And he's like, I want to get engaged.
Yeah, literally.
This ring's burning a hole in my pocket.
He was being weird. And I kept thinking, like, he's usually, like, super friendly. Like, this is weird.
And he's really, like, miffed about this.
Well, in his head, he's just like, crap. And not only that, my girlfriends I was having the girls' night with later were up on the mountainside in a blizzard waiting for us.
Oh, wait, were you actually, though, going to do a girls' night?
Yeah.
Oh, continue. I need the rest of this.
I was, at least in my head, I was doing a girls' night. Yeah. He had taken over that with the girls, but was still saying I was going to a girls' night, so I wouldn't suspect anything.
Gotcha. So in your brain, you're like, these girls are in a blizzard up there.
No, I didn't know. I didn't know they were up there, but he knew they were up there. Gotcha. Otherwise, I would have been like, my friends are waiting, and they're waiting outside.
Yeah.
But he knew the girls' night I thought was happening had been hijacked into his proposal.
Right. Okay.
And so he knew in his head, I have all of her girlfriends outside up a mountain in a blizzard while she's just taking her sweet old time.
Yep.
Because she thinks I'm just giving her a nice little gift and then she's going to go hang out with them. But really, they're on the mountain.
Oop.
So anyway, he's like, okay, let's give you your gift. I'm going to blindfold you and drive you. And I'm like, why? And he's like, because the place will give it away. So I'm like, okay. And I'm like so confused about what my gift is.
So confused.
And anyway, he blindfolds me, drives all over Provo, stops and gets out. We start trucking up some hill. I can tell it's like mountainous hill. And I'm in heels because I only used to wear heels at the time.
I remember this.
And I'm like, okay, what's going on? I still have the blindfold on. I'm like, can I take this off? He's like, no, it will give it away. It will give it away. And I kept thinking, like, what on earth could this be? But I also wanted to be surprised. And I was like, maybe. But I'm like, no, you know, like, I don't know what's going on. We finally get to the spot and he goes, okay, put out your hands. And so I'm like, is he going to give me like a bunny? Like
a bunny?
Just
that's what came to brain.
Fluffy?
Something fluffy.
Something in my... Why would the place give it away? We're obviously outside and he needs my hands, but I'm still wearing a blindfold.
Right.
I was like, what's going on? So he says, yeah, put out your hands. I put out my hands. I feel him take one. My blindfold comes off. Someone like snatches it. And I look down and he's on his knees.
Oh.
And it's overlooking the city of Provo. And so we're up on the mountain. It's like sparkling lights. He had set up lights and candles and a sign and all the things. It was so cute. I have no idea what he said to this day. Zero clue, because I was just sobbing.
Yeah.
Just absolutely sobbing.
Aww.
So excited. Said yes. You know, he put the ring on my finger. We had hot chocolate, looked out. This was actually really funny too, because this spot on the mountain is like right above an insane asylum.
Oh.
In Provo. And when he was trying to find a place to do it, he was like, this is really pretty. And they have like a cool, like a balcony that juts out.
Beautiful.
And you don't see the insane asylum.
Yeah.
But since it's technically like right above the grounds, you have to get permission to go there.
Oh.
And so they were telling him that day that he needed to come sign me in as like a guest.
Oh.
Not like to go into the insane asylum.
I did not know this.
And him sign in. And he was like, no, I'm not doing that. And he's like, not a rule breaker. But he was like, I'm not doing that because
it needs to be a surprise.
It needs to be a surprise.
No.
I'm not going to go sign my girlfriend into an insane asylum before I
Yeah, that's not going to go over very well. Can we go sign in over at this place so I can propose to you?
So he just snuck us up there and set it all up. It was beautiful. All my friends jump out. And it was so fun. Again, sadly, Marley was not a part of it. But
it's okay. Obviously,
it was a different time.
Obviously, it was a very different time.
Yeah. And then we went to Cheesecake Factory with him and all my girlfriends.
Yay.
Because they were part of the proposal and helping set it all up.
Did they also all have to be signed in?
Yeah, they wanted everyone to come and sign in. And he's like, I'm not doing that. Like, it's going to ruin it.
Yeah.
So we got proposed.
Okay.
I was so happy, elated, you know, just like could not believe this was real life.
Yay.
And then we got married.
That's so sweet. Well, then that's the next question. So we got engaged. We're looking all cute and whatnot. And now we get married. You're like, you were already on team wedding.
Yeah.
By that time, you were like, ooh, we're ready. Let's do this.
Yeah, I was like, so, oh, by the way, I already have the temple booked.
Right.
It's May 18th. Does that date work for you?
Does he know that people went through his phone to delete that email?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, cool.
He knows now. Yeah, he knows all the things.
Yeah.
I eventually told him, I was like, I tricked you. I'm so sorry.
What do you mean?
That I deleted the email.
Oh, okay.
I, like,
I thought you meant like even further back.
No,
like, I'm going to marry you.
No.
As soon as
No. But so we got married May 18th of 2018. And I really wanted to get married in June because June's my favorite month. He wanted to get married in April. So May was a good meeting ground.
It's a good compromise.
It was a good compromise.
Yeah.
Yep. And I just didn't want to be in the snow. And I know that it can snow in May here in Utah. So that's the only thing I was worried about. And it did blizzard on my bridal's day.
Ooh.
But we still made it look like there wasn't any snow.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't feel like I saw any
But
snow.
I cried for hours because I was so worried about it. It all worked out,
Yeah.
you know? And it was also a beautiful day. My wedding colors were purple and yellow. And every time I say that, people are like, ew, weird. And I'm like, have you ever been up a mountain and seen wildflowers? Because they're purple and yellow. So that was my like vision.
Yeah.
Was mountainous, springy wildflowers, like a lot of white flowers and then mixes of purple and yellow in there. I loved it. It was so beautiful.
Just little dainty bits of it.
Yeah. It was so pretty. Yeah. And even the temple somehow had flowers, like massive flowers. They were all purple and yellow that day at the temple grounds.
It's so pretty.
People literally were like, oh my gosh, you're so extra. You called the temple and had them do your wedding colors, didn't you? And I was like, actually, no, but that would have been genius. So if I had.
Yeah.
Don't throw shade.
Exactly. Don't be jealous that I thought about it.
It was literally, and I didn't, but it was perfect. And it was so magical. The temple, same thing as Marley. Like, it's one of my absolute favorite buildings in Utah. Yeah. I love it. I used to grow up going to the tabernacle for state conferences and stuff like that and important meetings. And then when it burned down before my mission, I was so destroyed because I had an old antique picture of it in my bedroom. I just thought the architecture was fantastic. So it burned down. I remember thinking like, that is so sad that like piece of history was lost, that architecture was lost. Well, turns out, you know, they saved it. built it into a temple so I could get married there. I'm like, it's my castle. I freaking love it. And our wedding day was so magical. It was amazing being with all of our best friends and family in the ceiling room and just looking at him and thinking like, I am committing like not till death do we part, but like forever to this man. And I genuinely like knew to my core that this was the best decision I could make for myself. And it was so fun. It was beautiful. So we loved it. We had our reception the night before. It was at the White Shanty in Provo. I really love like barns and that kind of stuff. I thought it was super beautiful. We did it very non-traditional for that time, for it being the night before. People were up in arms. They're like, but you're not married yet. I'm like, guys, you can still say congrats. We're getting married like in the
tomorrow, less than 24 hours from now.
It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
Like, but are you going to do a send-off? This is again like member culture.
Yeah.
Are you going to do a send-off? Because that's weird because you're not actually going home and sleeping together that night. I'm like, you can still send us off with sparklers and just say like, congratulations. Okay.
Why does everyone need to send you off to go sleep together?
I don't know. It's so weird. But people were very worried about these little minute details. And I was like, I want it the night before.
Honestly,
because
it's genius.
I wanted to be able to just focus on the meaning of the wedding day on our wedding day and have just the people I wanted to see. I didn't want to see, no offense, I love you all, but I didn't want to see like my mom's 13th cousin, twice removed. After I had just gotten married. I was like, I'm sorry, but like it's about me and him and the people that really matter to me. Right. So I really loved that, except for I wouldn't suggest doing that and then getting married in the morning because I think I got 3 hours of sleep from the reception to when I got married.
Oh no.
To wake up to get ready.
Yeah.
Because that's a process. So that was the only thing. But it was magical. We had a luncheon after again with like close friends and family, and then the rest of the day was ours, and it was just so cool. So fun because we were like, we're just married, and it was so fun. We just got to be together and have a blast and not worry about having to rush anywhere or any of the other details or hugging a million bodies. Yep. And for me, that was perfect. Yeah, I loved it. It was great.
Yeah, that's awesome. Oh, I love that.
It was so fun.
So cute. Okay, let me see. Okay. I'm going to just kind of ask the same question then that you asked. Like, you've been married for almost 6 years. It's so interesting because I feel like I say that number. I'm like, that's so long. And then I'm like, it's really not though.
Yeah. It's both.
It's both.
Yeah. It's both long and short.
So how would you say your relationship has evolved?
I feel like it's just obviously like deepened a whole lot. We were young and super in love, and we still are, but like we have been through some stuff together now. And so it's just like we continue to choose each other every day despite all of that. And because of all of that, and it just like has gotten richer and richer. Yeah. It's like I like to compare it to something like marinating. Like it's better after a long time. And genuinely, I just feel like we've both allowed each other to really grow. He has inspired me to be a better version of myself every single day. And then he's my support when I am not doing great. Yeah. And I think like the fact that we have continued to choose each other every day and to vow to each other to always like choose to be in love with each other has really been so meaningful for us. But he is a good human being, like good to his core. I've said that before. And so I love learning with him. I love growing with him. I love the hard. I love the sad. I love the happy. And it genuinely just gets like richer and richer. Yeah. So I love it.
Oh, that's so sweet. Yeah. I love it.
He's a cutie. He's a cutie pants.
Cutie pants. I love it. Okay. Do we want to go over some advice?
Yeah.
Okay. What advice would you give to newlyweds or couples embarking on their own long-term relationship journey based on our experiences?
I guess multiple things. Number one, I've been watching a lot of Love is Blind lately.
Woo.
Very concerning.
Very
to
concerning.
And all the reality shows. But people are really afraid of heartbreak.
Yeah.
And I think that if you are like embarking on a long-term relationship and you're not at the point where you're like married.
Yeah.
You need to not be afraid of heartbreak, and you need to allow yourself to fully commit, because that's the only way you're ever going to figure out if that's your person.
Yeah.
And if that's like the choice you want to make. I think heartbreak is worth it. So shy away from the whole, like, I want to protect myself and my heart. I mean, obviously to an extent, obviously boundaries and things like that.
Right.
But
yeah.
shy away from I just want to take care of me and I want to protect myself and I don't want to get hurt, because you're never going to be able to fully dive in.
Yeah.
If you do that.
I learned that the hard way. Absolutely. I think the things that I want people to take away, I guess, is, I mean, definitely going along with that is find a person that loves all of you.
Yeah.
You know, like I want to say, like, go to therapy, work through your stuff, you know, and I still want to say that I still believe that everyone needs to, you know, work on themselves and figure out their issues. I'm just thinking about Love is Blind, right? But finding a person that you can commit to, that sees everything and is like, I'm still here. And it's okay. That's it. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think another piece of advice that I find so important is find someone who loves you just as much as you love them. Or vice versa, right? Like, you guys have to, you have to be a full-blown team, and you have to love them as much as they love you, or the other way around, in order for it to be as rich and beautiful as it can be as possible. Because I think if it's always more give or more take on one side, like, that's going to become really exhausting.
Right.
And frankly, like, nobody deserves that.
No.
Everyone deserves to be loved just as hard as they love.
Yeah.
And so don't settle for less than that. And I'm glad I didn't.
Yeah. Same. I love that.
I'm sure we have a million more.
Oh, always. But, you know, we started this thing like a podcast or whatever, where we just get to talk all over the place.
And we've already been going for quite a while.
15 episodes. Oh,
So
that's
awesome.
nuts.
I know.
Crazy. Well, who's supposed to end this thing? It's probably you.
I think it's you.
I don't know. Is it me? It is me. Yeah.
But
Kind of
honestly,
crazy.
You can just end it however you want.
Okay. Well, this has been so fun. And I'm so excited to have the boys on here soon. And we hope that maybe these stories have resonated, or maybe you've learned something. Maybe this has inspired you to go after that boy. Go get your man, girl. Yeah, I don't know. Oh, it'd be so interesting to see if this helps. But yes, okay. This is what Kai said. She says, love is such a powerful force in our lives. And whether you're just starting out on your own romantic adventure, or you've been in this journey for years like us, we want you to know that you're not alone. We're all navigating the highs and lows of love together. And it's in sharing our stories and experiences that we find connection, understanding, and hope. Amen.
Man, I couldn't said it better if I wrote it.
So we obviously want to hear stories from you, and we're just going to be like throwing stuff up on socials. So please be on the lookout for that, because we'd love to hear your love stories and tidbits and things like that. I think
It can be a rom-com week.
Tell
us the funny.
week.
Tell us the sweet.
Okay.
Thanks for tuning into our long-winded love stories.
Yes.
We love you all. Bye. Thanks for joining us this week on the Living Big podcast. You can find us wherever you listen to podcasts. Remember to subscribe, rate, and review.
Join us on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube for all the things from relatable mom memes to fun girls' night ideas with your besties.
See you next week.